Welcome to the Real Estate Roundtable. I'm Eric Blue. I'm your host. Wow, what a crowd tonight. I'm glad you guys all came out in the rain. We got Ryan Lundquist tonight as our main speaker. To be great about... There's no parking. We filled the parking lot. We broke the Ramada. Good job, guys. So first of all, if for those of you who haven't been here recently, we've got new branding for the Real Estate Roundtable we like. So we're getting a little more professional here. Also, you might have noticed we now Facebook Live the meetup, as well as these are all now posted on our YouTube page. So not only do we have the interviews from speakers and community members, but we also have the full-length 1080p high-definition videos of all the meetups up there as well. So they're usually up about 3 days after the event. Also, for those of you who haven't been here the last couple of times, we have a meeting format change. We've introduced a break in the middle, give you an opportunity to freshen up your drink or use the restroom, a little bit more networking, so that'll be coming up as well. Also, this is for you in the back that are talking. We love deal making, but please take it out in the lobby. We got a presentation going on, and some of the people in the front of the room would like to hear. But we love the fact that you're doing deals. Just please take it out in the lobby. Also, on your name tag, if you want to have your area of real estate you're interested in, for example, multifamily is my main area of real estate investing, that can be added to your name tag when you check in, so you can do that as well. I hate the fact that I have to say this, but no MLM pitching here. There's a place for that. We just want to make this space an area where people can feel free to not get the high sales pitch. I'm not talking about anybody specifically. Okay, round table. DJ, where's DJ? Who wants to read this? Oh, I knew it. He's our regular. Come on up. DJ! So I think DJ is now going to be the official real estate roundtable description reader. I'd gladly buy you a cup of coffee.
Thank you, Eric. Appreciate you so much. This is awesome. Packed house in here tonight. Let's give it up for Eric real quick, everybody. All right. The Real Estate Roundtable is a community of like-minded real estate investors who meet on a regular basis to educate, motivate, and inspire each other to achieve financial freedom through real estate investing. We share stories, challenges, and tips about real estate investing. Instead of traditional networking, this group is about really getting to know, like, and trust each other to foster lasting real estate investing partnerships. We crowdsource real estate knowledge, evaluate real deals, and learn real estate investment strategies from each other. It's a place to meet new folks, cultivate business relationships, and find partners to do real estate deals.
Woo-hoo! Yeah! Wow, what a great idea. Alrighty, so when we started this group, everybody in the room got to introduce themselves to the introduction round, but we've discovered that that takes too long now. So now what we do is we found this thing called the catch box. It's a throwable microphone, so we randomly throw it around the room for 10 people to introduce themselves. But for all you new folks, you're not off the hook, so you're all going to get a chance to introduce yourselves as well. Do you want to demo the pitch catch box for us? Oh, you want to do it? But Jen wants to do it. Hold it up there. Oh, Colton's got it. Okay.
I got it.
He's got it. Okay, so this is Colton. He's our technical guy. He does a great job. He's the one who makes the sound sound so good. So he's going to demonstrate the catch box so we get the best sound out of it.
This thing is very particular. A lot of people like to hold it like this, and then nobody can hear what you're saying. So you have to hold it right up to your mouth, and it sounds kind of tinny and gross, but that's just the way it is if you want to be heard. So,
all right, so
do it like this.
Randomly throw it around the room to 10 people. So.
Who's ready?
We'll see if this works.
Well, please stand when you got the catch box.
So you want, now what am I supposed to say?
Sorry.
Name and what?
How about that? So a brief bio of yourself, what your 9 to 5 is, area of real estate investing you're interested in, and something about you that most people don't know.
Oh, wow. I'm George Anthus. Let's see, what do I do from day to day, 9 to 5? Mostly solar consultant. I do flip houses, have flipped quite a few, and I'm still licensed real estate agent in the state of California. What am I interested in investing? Multifamily, I love it. I've got a duplex now, I love it. So, but I've flipped a few houses and I've kept a few for rentals. Something that people don't know about me. I've lost 30 pounds since January 3rd.
Okay, so my name's Scott Vogeley. Brief bio of myself. Born and raised in Michigan, moved out here in 2011. I am an electrical contractor in Sacramento. And what area of real estate am I interested in? I am interested in getting started. I'm planning on getting a fourplex this year. So reading, networking, developing a plan, creating documents, trying to figure everything out. But breaking the ice this year with a fourplex, and that's what I'll be doing for my first investment property. Something about me that most people don't know. I get up at 3:55 every morning and do an hour of yoga and meditation.
Awesome. Hey everyone, I'm Shane Kefauver. My day-to-day is I'm an environmental scientist for State Fish and Wildlife. I'm also a realtor and investor on the side. I'm interested in all aspects of real estate, but right now I'm focusing on flipping and wholesaling. And something that most people don't know, I think I might have said this a long, long time ago, but my second toe is significantly longer than my big toe.
All right, hi, I'm Rob Leet. I'm new here, and I wanted to thank Eric for, corresponding and telling me about this. I work at River City Bank. That actually got me interested in real estate because I do, a lot of underwriting on a day-to-day basis, and hoping to do my first deal or transaction the next year or so. And buy and hold, I'm all about the cash flow.
You want it? No, you got it. Go ahead.
All right, my name is Shane Swanberg. My day-to-day, I'm full-time. I guess I'll walk over here a little bit. There we go. Day-to-day, 9 to 5. Quit my job back in August. Been doing full-time real estate investing, flipping. It's awesome. You guys should all just quit. I'm just kidding. Area of real estate investing I'm interested in, 2 areas. One of them is flipping, and one of them is buying rental properties. And then something people don't know about me, I'm a hell of a fantasy basketball player. Just saying. No one wants it?
What? Hi everybody, my name is Pamela Rodriguez. This is my first time here. My day-to-day, I'm a certified financial planner and I love what I do, but I have been a project manager for SBP, which is kind of like Habitat for Humanity, which got me interested in construction. And the area of real estate that I'm interested in would be flipping, and I'm hoping that I can do that this year or next year. Something about me that most people don't know is I was born and raised in Mexico, so I speak Spanish as my first language. Anybody? Okay. No, I don't want to hit anyone in the face. No, there's no one. Okay.
Hi everybody, I'm Jack Frost. Little bio on me is I've been a mortgage banker for most of my life. real estate development. Got a new nonprofit called Pro Small Biz California. I passed out a flyer for our tax day event with Art Laffer. I'm a real estate investor with rental properties, REITs. And something most people don't know about me is I have a cold name but a very warm heart.
You missed it. You always trying to pass it back here.
Hi, my name is Colin Clementson. I'm in the investment business, buying houses mainly subject to pre-foreclosures, lease options, free and clears, that kind of thing. As little money out of my pocket as I can, seems to work. What do I do? That's what I do. What's something about me you don't know? Well, once, you wouldn't believe it, I was a motorcycle rider in a stunt team.
Hey, you spilled. Need another beer.
Oh, wow. Hello? Almost. Oh, man, I'm short. Hi, my name's Danielle. This is my husband, Fred. This is our first time here. Woohoo! I actually met Jennifer a couple months ago. It's so funny. She was passing out her business cards while we were all waiting for the ladies' room. So it worked. My day today, I'm actually an investigator. My husband's a truck driver. We are not really sure what we're trying to do yet. We wanted a second property, and we had a broker tell us when we save $90,000, come back. So we didn't like that idea, so we're just trying to figure out how to get into that area. Something most people, well, you guys probably don't know anything about me. So, I don't know. I'm just happy to be here.
Alrighty, this is the last one last throw.
Hey, what's up?
Uh-oh, nerd!
What's up, what's up?
The Nurbinator!
Hey, guys. I guess I'm known as the Nurbinator now. How you doing? My name's Michael Nurby. I am the Nurbinator, the Nurbster. Let's see. My day-to-day, I'm an investor. I love buying houses, so if you have a deal, I'm looking to buy 3 houses in the next 30 days. Send them my way. I'm also working on a multifamily deal outside of Chicago, 72 units, 24 of which are burned, and it's going to be a sweet little rehab deal if you like something like that. And then answers number 3, something about you most people don't know. You all know I'm a rock climber. I've climbed El Cap 4 times. But something that you don't know is my mom's 100% Irish. She immigrated when she was 26, and I've been to Ireland probably a dozen times. So if you need advice on where to go, what Guinness to drink is the best bar, feel free to hit me up. Thanks.
Alrighty. Like I mentioned, we still have an opportunity. So if you're new and haven't already introduced yourself and would like the opportunity, please raise your hand and we'll give you a chance. Do you want to say? You guys want to say hey?
Sure.
Yeah. Just say that.
Same stuff. Yeah.
A little bit different. Why did you come tonight?
Oh, here for the first time. So my name's Matthew Stewart. I'm a realtor of 19 years in the area. Day-to-day, 9-to-5 real estate. Investing, single family, multifamily, buy and hold, cash flow, planning retirement with my beautiful wife, Lexi Stewart. And we came tonight because we've been dripped on with the email for a while, and we wanted to see Ryan do his thing.
Awesome. Do you want to say something too? Oh yeah, sure.
Sorry. Hi guys, I'm Lexi, and as my wonderful husband said, we're very excited to be here tonight. I'm with Orange Coast Title, so if any of you are looking for an amazing title company that offers you binder rates and discounts and all that kind of stuff, please come see me afterwards. I've got cards. Thanks.
Alrighty. Any new folks here? I know there's a whole bunch of them. Oh, here we go.
Hello, everyone. My name is Terrell Keys. I'm a real estate agent at Gorian Thompson Real Estate, and I'm full-time, and I primarily work with first-time home buyers and investors. We are a HUD office, so we get foreclosures directly from the bank, and I'm here to network and learn. And what else? Oh yeah, that's it.
All righty. Want to say hi?
Hi, I'm Charlene McNamara. I came from Nevada County. I connected with Eric on Facebook because I noticed we had like 60 mutual friends and yet we never met. My day-to-day, I guess, is managing our properties and investing. We don't have that many, but they keep me really busy. Interested in buy and holds, more or less only single families or multis. We purchased our first property out of state in June of last year, and that was kind of terrifying. But it's going really well. Why did I come tonight? Because I've been trying to for many months and just never had a chance to, so I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for coming. So for those of you who aren't on Facebook very much, I'm pretty much the mayor of Facebook, particularly up in Nevada County. So you want to say something?
Hello, everyone. James Lease. I'm in the real estate investment education business and support students around that. Also love skiing, traveling, and live a lifestyle based on my wife. So, ski instructor for Squaw.
Awesome. Hey. All right. Who else is new back here? I see a new sticker right here.
My name is Ty Mitrin. It's my first time here. I used to work 8 to 5 doing IT, about 12 years, legislative data center, and then franchise tax board. Read Robert Kiyosaki's book, changed my mindset. I was always like a business type, because growing up with my parents, they did mom and pop stores. So, yeah, so made the transition. I'm trying to be a full-time real estate investor and doing business on the side with my brother. So, what area of real estate? I want to do distressed properties right now. I just bought my first duplex this past year. So, first one, fixed it up and renting it out. Why did I come tonight? I came tonight because I read Ryan Lundquist's blog, so that's why I came.
Awesome. I always love that. We've heard so many times that somebody read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and it got them into these rooms, and we love to hear that. Want to say hi?
Hi, my name is Karen. 9 to 5, day-to-day, I work as a mortgage broker out of Rockland. So if any of you have properties that you need a loan for, come see me. I've not invested yet, so any possibilities are open. I also have been on the meetup calendar for many months, and I'm just now first time able to be here.
Awesome. Thanks for me. Anybody, other new people over here? Oh, here we go.
Hey everyone, my name is Andrew Shannon. I'm looking forward to meeting everyone here today. That's a big reason why I'm here, is for the networking aspect. I'm also looking to learn a little bit more about Sacramento and just the dynamic economy that we have here. 9 to 5 is banking and residential lending, so really kind of that's piqued a little bit of interest for real estate, and also getting into just the cash flow ideas. So thank you.
How about over here?
All right, thanks. Stand right here. My name is Franklin, and I went to the other 2 real estate clubs in town. That's where I met Eric. He said this one meets at a pub, so that's why I'm here. And let's see. I am a real estate attorney, land use transactional zoning, and I also own a property management company, residential. And I also do some real estate investments. So I'm actually looking for about a 30 to 60 unit property here in Sacramento. And that's why I came. Thanks.
Awesome. All right, anybody else? I think I saw a few more in the back here. Any other new folks back here? You want to say hey?
Oh, hi. Hello. My name is Robert Millward, and I was coming here because I was looking to pick up real estate agents. not in the way you might be thinking. I own a real estate company in Sacramento called Intero. We are part of Berkshire Hathaway, and we have a great office. We have investors that we work with, and we would love to help any of you that would, any agents that would like to consider working for a great company in Sacramento. I'm right here. So, thank you very much.
Awesome. All righty, anybody that we missed? Oh.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Omar Peller. I do fix and flips, but just now I'm focusing primarily on infill development, land development, taking a piece of property, carving it up, and putting as many units as the city would, or the county would allow, depending on zoning. I'm presently putting a group together to do multi-family developments using modular technology. Essentially, these are build and hold type of developments. So if anybody's interested, please talk to me after the meeting. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, so part of the reason we do this is so, well, the speaker can get a flavor of who's in the room. Also, you guys get an idea of what the new people are interested in and who you can connect to or connect with when we have the networking opportunities. Once again, the whole idea of this group is to really foster connections between you, and this is one of the ways we do it. Also, when you came in, we have a Bring a Friend challenge, so there's cards available up there that have the information about the group, so feel free to take those and hand them out to your friends. For those of you I knew, I'm sure you'll want to take a bunch on your way out. So we think it's really important that if you invest with not only your friends, but if you have the support of your spouse and partner, we've got Belinda and David right here. They've been coming to my group for a long time. They look thrilled. Anyways, if you have the support of your spouse or your partner, that's a really great thing. Also, bring your whole team. Sierra Bay shows up here consistently with their whole team. I saw Will and the team here tonight. So, if you've got a team you're working with, or if you're a real estate agent with a company, we love to see realtors in the investment community. The more they understand this stuff, the more they hear from Ryan, the better agents they'll be and the better they'll help us out in there. Okay, disclaimer, this is their standard legal stuff. Everything presented tonight is for educational purposes. If you've got a specific deal, make sure you talk with your legal professionals. Now we've got this has become a regular thing. We've got Jennifer, who's our co-hostess. She gives us a little marketing update. I think it's marketing this time. So with that being said.
Thanks, Eric. How's everybody doing tonight? Awesome. Thanks for coming on a super rainy night and learning about the market. So I'm doing a marketing update. I think it's really funny. Eric does so much work to make these really nice presentations, and I just did a little bit of ing. So the marketing update. How much is too much posting on social media? What do you guys think? Never? There is? If it's boring, it's too much. It has to be entertaining. Value. Depends on what platform it is. Cool. So posting. Everyone's been doing an amazing job about posting more. I just want to give you guys all a great shout out. But, to start where you are. If you just kind of started on social media, post a little bit more. Really interact with people on your social media. The addiction of social media. We're all on social media all the time, so they might as well just be seeing you and what you're doing instead of what your competitor's doing. So let people know what you're doing on social media. Yeah, you can have fun and da-da-da, but, say you're looking for a house, you're looking for multifamily, you do loans, you're looking for private money. Put it out there on social media. This is marketing. Let people know what you do. And promote other people on your page. If you're working or partnering with somebody else, put them on your page and give them a shout out. Really let people know that you appreciate what you do. Let people know who you enjoy working with and who they should go to and who's helped you in business as well. If you don't want to post more, there's another thing that you can do. You can comment more. Interact on other people's platforms, especially big influencers in the industry. Once you comment on theirs, you're already hitting their audience so much, and they're seeing that you're very knowledgeable in the industry. You know, that's also cross-promoting and working on other platforms. What you could do is go on YouTube and watch some of these videos, but then look through the comments and see what are the most asked questions, and then make content on that, because that's exactly what people are looking for. And when you have those big influencers, they don't have time looking for all those through all those comments, and you do. So that's another really good way to get content. And that's promoting yourself on other people's business pages. So who's the biggest influencer in the room right now that you could be commenting on their page? Me. Ryan, Eric, me, James, Shane, Michelle, yeah. So I kind of gave you guys two options today. If you're really good at posting, keep posting. If you're not really good at posting, comment on other people's stuff and show them what you know. This is what to post. I'm looking for my next investment property. Do you know anyone that wants to sell their house? We can all post that right now, and that's a great way to generate leads, okay? Just letting people know what you're looking for. Business card challenge. So I'm really happy this woman came. What's your name? Danielle? Thank you so much for coming, because today I have a business card challenge. Market, tell people what you're doing. Okay, social media, yeah. But like real life. So when we went to the Real Estate Wealth Expo, I had business cards. And I was like, how can I pass out as many business cards as possible without actually talking to anybody and doing it as quickly as possible? And pretty much we were in line in the bathroom, and I was like, well, they're all interested in real estate, so I went to the bathroom, and you know the line was like around the corner, around the expo, down, so I just had like a captive audience, which I really like. I just went, hey, yeah, I think you'd be interested in this. I think you'd be interested in this. So now I challenge all of you to get, if you don't already have business cards, get 1,000 business cards printed. What's that, like 80 bucks? Under 100 bucks, okay? And give them out to everyone that you don't already know. So your friends and family, they don't count. Everyone else is fair game. And I always look for those really easy wins, like long lines in the bathroom. There's also a lot of long lines for people waiting for food. They're captive. Just hand them out. Really easy wins. And, you know, just networking. So everyone here should have everyone's business card, and that's a great way to market. It's super cheap, and we all have something to provide for people, okay? My name is Jennifer Atherton. Shoot me an email if you got some questions. Of course, I'm on Facebook and Instagram. I'm now an investor realtor, social media manager, and do rental and lease purchases. Thank you guys so much for your time. Tell everyone what you're doing. Thank you.
I love that you got proof of concept right here in the bathroom line. It works. All right, now we got time for our sponsor spotlight. You know, what we're thrilled about is keeping this group always free for the attendees, and part of the way we do that is we've had some sponsors step up. First of all, our biggest sponsor by far is the Fulton 80 Tap House. They provide this awesome environment for us to have this. And we support them by buying food and drinks. So at break, or make sure you guys buy plenty of beers and buy food. That's what helps keep the room free. You know, we all win. Also, we've helped them out with their social media, Jen and I. You can now check in when you're here. So if you like this place, you like our group, go ahead and show support for the Fulton 80 Tap House so they can start getting a following. Also, this provides the metadata so they have geotagging for people who can't find their way here. So, yeah, you can check in right now. So if you go to on Facebook, you can check in. Also, we love our volunteers. This whole thing is run by volunteers. You just met Jennifer Atherton. Colton runs all our technology. Ethan's now stepped up. He's helping us with running the camera. We've got, actually Guido stepped up and helped us tonight. Steve is helping us with video and check-in. Marissa's behind the bar, and of course, Lisa and Dwight with the Fulton 80 Tap House. They all do a great job, so we love all the volunteers that keep this thing going. Also, Randy Just is a sponsor. He's not here tonight. He's a house flipper and realtor in the Marysville area, so I just want to give him a shout out. We got Matt, the mortgage guy. Matt is in the house, so he's got something brilliant to say.
Even though I wore my fancy corduroy jacket, I know you guys aren't here to see me, you're here to see Ryan, so I'll keep it really short. Something I want to remind everybody, I'm an independent mortgage broker for those that don't know me, which means I can broker loans to a bunch of different places. I can do any type of stuff from a bunch of non-QM, which is, you know, kind of the middle ground between hard money and conventional lending, where they have, you know, pretty flexible guidelines for investors. Too much stuff to mention here tonight, but run questions by me. Randy Just, who we just saw, called me last week. We went through a scenario trying to help him. He had a buyer that had a unique scenario that I was thankfully able to help with. Ryan Nichols reached out to me. Other folks in the room have reached out to me, and I want you to continue to do so. A lot of times, if you don't know any better, you're going to ask somebody who is going to give you a yes. And that yes is a maybe, I hope so, let's throw it against the wall and see if it sticks. If you come to me, I'm going to give you the honest answer. And a lot of times it's not what you want to hear, but it's what you should hear. 'Cause it's going to save a bunch of headache and 3 weeks of paying for inspections, paying for an appraisal, and then somebody telling you, sorry, I couldn't do it. I thought I could. You know, the guy was a, you know, waiter at Outback Steakhouse last week, and now he's a mortgage guy trying to throw a deal against the wall that's not going to fly. Sorry. No, waiters are great. But give me a call. If you have Matt the Mortgage Guy, my info's easy to find. If you Google Matt the Mortgage Guy and can't find my number, I don't deserve the business. So do that. I've got business cards if anyone needs them. Reach out to me. Let me be a resource to you. I'm happy to help. Thanks.
All right, thanks, Matt. All right, we got Sierra Bay Development. Shane and Will. Isn't Will gonna? Oh, is it gonna tag team him?
Oh yeah, we're tag teaming. Oh, it might work. Oh, 10 minutes before we started, we weren't sure if it was going to work or not. I'm Shane Kiefauer with Sierra Bay Real Estate and Development. If you've noticed, I got some white stuff on my jacket and some stuff in my hair. We just got our demo permit today, so we took down a wall before we got here. It was awesome. No regrets. So today's talk is kind of going off of last week's. If you weren't here last week, I talked about your why and the motivation that fear brings you and the success that fear brings you. But Will showed me this video. It's an 18-minute clip. Don't worry, not showing you the whole thing. It's from Simon Sinek. He's the author of Start With Why. Awesome book. Oh, it's an amazing book. So I took a 3-minute clip from it, and I think it might work. Let's try it. Oh, here we go. Oh, there it is. Might need you. Yeah. Okay. So what you see up here is what he calls the golden circle. And most salespeople, they start from the outside in. They look at they represent their what, how they do it better than somebody else, and then why they do it. So it goes into several examples using Apple, the Wright brothers, and Martin Luther King Jr. It's a fantastic video, 18 minutes long on YouTube. And basically with Apple, he goes, the clip was going to be about Apple. And it was going to be how they start with their why first. And it's to basically challenge the status quo. How do they do that? By building products that everyone loves. They also just happen to build computers, and that's their what. But most companies like Dell, they start from the outside in. So they say, we build awesome computers. We do that with the best technology, and we do that for the consumers to help them in their daily lives. It's not as effective. I can't present it nearly as well as he can, and I'm doing this impromptu. So I highly, highly recommend watching that. It's amazing. It is very sexy. What's that? Simon Sinek, and the book is Start With Why. So if you look up either of them on YouTube, you should be able to find this video. And I think this is like the thumbnail that starts the YouTube video. So unfortunately, my presentation is pretty much over, but I'd like to introduce the president of Sierra Bay Real Estate and Development, Sir William Dangler.
Hi, everybody. I'm going to kind of shoot off the cuff a little bit here, too. The Real Estate Roundtable is one of the places that really built Sierra Bay Real Estate and Development. If you're not familiar with our company and what we do, we are an investor-centric real estate brokerage and development firm. So what that means is we're doing our traditional buyer and sellers, like most real estate firms do, but we are investor-centric. So we're helping people acquire and remodel multifamily, buy flip properties. We are actually doing infill development, entitlement work, really all of the stuff in the investor landscape we're working on right now. And a big thanks to Eric Blue and the platform that he set up here, and for all the people that volunteer here. There's just an amazing thing that has come out of the roundtable. I mean, today there was probably 10 people that are in this room at our headquarters today putting their heads together to work on deals. New deals getting funded. We have new agents that are coming into the company that are sitting in here right now. Lionel, where you at? This guy, him and Shane have done a great job about bringing properties in and working really hard for their clients, but I wanted to give this guy a huge congratulations on getting his first short sale accepted today. Which is also turning into a flip opportunity there for an investor. So to jump off the mic here, if you're interested in any of the things that we do or parking your license at a firm where we're going to try to help build both your career and your net worth, we're here to talk to you. We'll stick around after the meeting, and thank you for your time.
All righty, we also have some friends of the Real Estate Roundtable. You met Colin earlier. He introduced himself. And a lot of you met Guido on the way in. These are just members of our community that want to support us, make sure it's always free to attend for anybody who wants to get access to real estate knowledge. So thank you, guys. Okay, real quick before we go to break, I'd just like to get an idea of who's in the room, so if you want to connect with someone. So who here's our wholesalers? Come on, wholesalers. I need some deals. Come talk to me. Whoops. Who's our flippers? Okay, make sure you talk to those wholesalers, right? Okay, buy and holds. Who's looking for buy and holds? Rentals? Out of state? Anybody doing out of state? Yeah. Maybe after we hear what Ryan has to say, that'll sound like a good thing. Multifamily. Who's the multifamily guys? Yep, come talk to me also. Commercial. Anybody doing commercial deals? Yeah, we don't get too many commercial folks here. Private lenders. Who's our money people? No one's got money tonight? Where's our? Oh, there they are. Oh, look at it. Okay. We got a whole bunch of money people there. And then notes. I know, Guido, you're our note guy. If you guys want, there he is. If you want to do notes, make sure you talk to Guido. All righty. So he's got notes in his hand right now. He's got the sheet. Yep. So if you're interested in investing in notes, make sure you talk to Guido. So we're going to take a 15-minute break while we get set up for Ryan. Make sure you guys support the bar. Make sure you network each other, connect with some of those people you just saw raise their hand, and we'll be back in 15 minutes. Who here reads the Sacramento appraisal blog? I think we got the Ryan Lundquist fan club in the house. I think you came to the right place, or they all had a bunch of beers. Beers and appraisal, beers and statistics. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start. I'm going to go ahead and let Ryan introduce himself. I've seen his presentations. I've known him for the last couple of years. He's probably the best resource in the local area for what's going on with the market. If you're not already checking out the Sacramento appraisal blog, you'll definitely want to follow it after tonight. With that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Ryan.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And Eric's pointing at the clock. I got a ton of time, so that's either really good or really bad. We'll see what it ends up being. But it's really good to see everyone, and I hope that by the time that this ends, that you'll be thinking, I'm so glad that I came, okay? I don't want to just give you a talk that to impress friends with what you know about real estate or to win at Real Estate Jeopardy because you know a bunch of geeky stats. I want to explain, here's what the market's doing, and to give a sense of maybe some ways to focus on business this year, okay? Numbers are not enough. We need feet to numbers, okay? So does anyone remember these right here? Fidget spinners? So anyone have kids? Yeah? Okay, so I have two kids. They're 15 and about 13 now. So whole different life for me. I used to think, man, I know what I'm doing as a dad. Not so much anymore. But a couple years ago, these were all the rage. And especially with my youngest son, and they were spending all their discretionary money on fidget spinners. And so we noticed something interesting happening in this market because, of course, what happened with this market is that it utterly collapsed. All right? And so we were at Denio's one week, and the standard fidget spinner was $5. Then we happened to go back the next week, and there was a 60% discount. And so they were on sale for $2. And so my son, in his infinite wisdom, saw what was happening in the market, and he made a plan to offload his inventory. And so the day before the last day of school, he told his friends, and he said, hey, I'm going to sell all my fidget spinners tomorrow, so bring your money. And so he took all of his fidget spinners to school, and he came home with $37, right? He's a genius. And so I keep asking him what the real estate market is going to do. But like most kids, he's playing Fortnite, so not too in tune with real estate right now. But there's really three things I want you to get out of this talk. And number one, to understand more fully what the market's doing. Okay. Number two, to pick up some ways to describe the market, especially if you're in a real estate sales position or you're trying to sell someone something. There's so much more we can say about the market rather than speaking cliches or it's a good time to buy, it's a good time to sell, maybe, maybe not. And get some ideas for where to focus business in 2019. Okay, so I don't know about you, but have you noticed some sensational real estate headlines lately? It seems like every other day or someone's posting something on Facebook, the market's beginning to tank. Or if you read Seeking Alpha, anything on their site for the last 5 years, like the market it's destroyed. So here's an article, the unusually large drop in home sales has real estate agents baffled. Right? Or there's the housing blues won't be over soon in the Wall Street Journal. Okay, here's one, housing market crisis 2.0, the jury is in for 2018 and 2019. Okay. Until when you read this post next year, and we'll see if it came true, right? Like it goes, you can prophesy the real estate market and say the same thing about the market every year, and eventually you'll be right. Here's one, Bay Area housing market cools, but it's still nuts, right? So here's what I sense, there's this continuum, and we have doom and gloom on one side, and then we have rose-colored glasses on the other. And doom and gloom is very common. It gets a ton of media attention. And that's, hey, we've entered a housing bubble. And by a show of hands, who thinks that we're in another housing bubble right now? Okay. By a show of hands, who thinks we're not in a real estate bubble? Okay. By a show of hands, who thinks, well, I don't really know, but it feels like we're closer to the top? Okay. Probably a lot more, yeah, absolutely. And then there's the other side that says, hey man, everything is fine. It is all good. You know, it's never been a better time to buy real estate, right? And then we see investors who are saying that, then they're buying out of state, right? So let's look at some local trends though. And I'm gonna share a lot of numbers, okay? But these are numbers to tell the story, okay? And if you want this presentation at the end, I can email it to Eric, or you send me an email or text, no problem, I'll get it to you. But the stats were actually pretty sexy last year in the Sacramento region. No matter how you look at it, median price, average price per square foot, average sales price, the numbers were up almost 5 to 7%, okay? Does that surprise anyone? Because we had a really dull second half to the year. And sometimes when I talk with the real estate community, people go, wow, I didn't realize that the numbers were that high. I thought they might be a little bit lower. But here's the deal. Let me explain something. Has anyone ever been on a diet? Yeah? Okay, so 2 years ago, I went on a diet and I lost 40 pounds, okay? Until this last fall, when I gained 10 pounds back, right? And 15 if I'm really honest, okay? So technically, I could say I am down 25 pounds. This is amazing. But what is the real trend in my life? I'm up 15. okay? I can hide the real trend if I look at the big picture. Same thing with real estate stats. We could say all day long till we're blue in the face, hey, prices were up 7% last year, but we have to look really close and say what's beginning to happen in the market. Does that make sense? So one of the things that has been happening is that sellers have been stuck in the past, okay? You guys know this movie? Okay. Uncle Rico, Napoleon Dynamite, okay? Totally creepy character, not sure we could pull this off in today's world, okay? But this guy was stuck in 1982, you know, back in his high school days. Everything was about, I just need to get back to 82. Everything was so good then. I could throw a football over a mountain and yeah. And sellers, though, in today's market, which is really good to remember if you're flipping or you're selling, you've got to realize that they are, in a sense, like Uncle Rico, they're stuck in the past thinking that the market is a lot more aggressive than it actually is today. And so we had this really aggressive market, but it's begun to slow. I was talking to Matt Gouget, and he dropped a great analogy saying that the market was driving 80 miles per hour, but now the market's more like driving 20 or 30. So we've still seen forward progress, but we're seeing a market that's much slower. But the problem is that sellers are thinking it's still 80 miles per hour, and you have to talk sense into them to acquire deals. Okay. Let me share some positive numbers. $13 billion in residential real estate happened last year in the Sacramento region. I hope for your numbers this year that you have a very significant portion of that. If you wanted to know, here's the top 5 sales ever in Sacramento County. You can see we struggle to get above $5 million. There's always $5 million listings, right? But it's not a record unless it actually sells. Now here's the top 5 sales in Placer County. What do you notice? Granite Bay? Absolutely. There's actually a couple houses that resold here. Eddie Murphy's house sold twice. Here's a little bit of real estate trivia. Who bought this house? The governor, our new governor, and he paid how much? $3.7 million, right? Yeah, 5th highest sale ever. So amazing, amazing. So let's get into some stats. Distressed sales. What percentage of the market was distressed, bank-owned, or short sales last year in the entire region? And that's not a rhetorical question. Come on, you guys have had a lot of beer, okay? 4%, 2%. Here we go. So less than 1%. Not a very distressed market. I always tell real estate agents, if your website still says you're a short sale specialist, you know, you might want to update your site for today, okay? But there was a short sale that closed. You know, I actually, I emailed an agent last month in Placer County. There was literally one short sale. And I emailed her and I said, congratulations on selling all the short sales in the county. She never emailed me back. I thought it was an awesome geeky joke, but oh well. But this was what we had about in the first quarter of 2009. 84% of sales in Sacramento County were distressed for the entire quarter. And so we have a market that's really healed from those distressed days. And I know as investors, some people are hungry for that. I see those Facebook posts like, bring on the blood, you know, I want that market, right? I think average folk maybe don't, but you do. But we do have a market where we're starting to see a lot of this, if you know what I mean. If you can't sleep at night, there's a lot of people willing to help you flip homes, right? I guarantee there's an infomercial on probably every night about how easy it is to get deals. Interestingly enough, only 1% of sales were bank-owned last year. There were literally about 300 bank-owned properties in the entire region last year. So it's not as easy to get them as some purport. So now here's an interesting thing. This is a graph. Oh, we're cut off at the top. Sorry about that. This is Rio Linda sales. Since 2007, all the sales in red are foreclosures, and the other ones that are in blue are regular sales. What do we notice happening in the market in Rio Linda? What's your observation? Okay, so values definitely, they sort of bottomed out and then they went up, absolutely. Then what about with foreclosures? We had the gut of the market. Look at how many foreclosures were here. Would you say kind of all throughout price ranges? throughout the whole entire market. Now, I'm going to show you East Sacramento. Same thing. What do you think we're going to see? Same thing, right? Foreclosures everywhere. Here's East Sacramento. Do we notice less foreclosures? There's maybe a lot less recently, not much, and maybe not spread throughout the whole entire market, right? So that's a reminder that the market is different depending on the neighborhood and price range. And so sometimes people are like, what's the market doing? Oh, it's really, really slow. Okay. The residential market has slowed in a lot of ways. I don't think that slowness has caught up with the 2 to 4 unit market. And when we're talking about land or condos or different things, we might be seeing different trends. It might be different at the high end or the low end, okay? So residential, here's sales above $1 million since 2012. These are the number of sales. Here's 2012, 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. What do you guys notice? What's the trend in our market? We've seen a lot of growth through the years. Absolutely. What do we see under $100,000 through the years? You're like, if only I bought then, when there were over 3,000 sales under 100,000. Amazing. Now you can get one technically, but it's usually, a burned house. It's crispy. I mean, it has some major issues. Walter White was there. I don't know. They were cooking meth. Something was going on. But can you see why we're talking about affordability in the market? Because we're having a market where prices have risen exponentially, and so we're reaching this spot where buyers are, in some senses, maybe standing off a little bit, saying, "Hey, I'm struggling to afford." So here's an interesting property, though, that I wanted to bring up. This property just hit the market on T Street, and the price per square foot is $1,249. So is that a sign of affordability issues? Like, what's going on? Oh my gosh, we have Bay Area prices. No, there's one issue here. Does anyone know what it is? The house is 360 square feet, and it's listed at $450. So when you do the math, it shows this crazy price per square foot, but the thing's really tiny, okay? Just a reminder, as you're evaluating properties, please don't just look at price per square foot. Okay, that's one of the quickest ways to be wrong about value. You gotta look at similar homes. What are similar properties actually selling for? Otherwise, we look at this one, the market's doing this crazy thing, I can't believe we have San Jose prices, when it's like, no man, this is a 360 square foot house. Literally, the garage is actually bigger than the house, okay? But no joke, okay? So here's one of the trends, and one of the things we have to ask, is cash driving today's market? Well, no, yes, what do you say? I hear no. Do I hear any yeses? Yes. Do I hear any maybes? Okay, so here's the deal. Here's Sacramento County. We see cash. Here's the bottom of the market, and cash sort of peaks out in 2013, and we've had this decline of cash, and it's really been hovering around 13 to 15%. And so we have a market that I think sellers think that everyone is buying cash, but we actually don't have that much cash in the market, okay? Now, are a lot of investors using conventional financing? Yeah, of course. Okay, does anyone remember the fund up here in 2012 and 13 that was buying a lot of stuff in Sacramento? Blackstone. And how many properties did they buy in Northern California? About 3,000 in Northern California. At the end of their purchasing stint, talk about aspirations as an investor. At the end of their stint, they owned 47,000 homes in the United States. They merged with another fund, and they collectively own 82,000 homes. Okay, and so we've had this market it's been unprecedented how investors have entered the market. The good news is that we're actually beginning to see the homeownership rate rise again after years, and we kind of want a market where that it's not just owned by investors. I know you guys are like, no we don't, but I think for the health of our market, we probably do. But really 15% of all sales in the region were cash last year, okay? But it kind of goes against what sellers are looking for, Uncle Rico syndrome, okay? Sellers want the price for that one unicorn buyer from the Bay Area. That's right, right. We want a price for that one San Jose buyer, right? It's kind of like, I know comps are around 375, but we're just going to price at, at 460, right? Because we're going to get that one buyer, right? Realtors. Okay, realtors are struggling in a lot of ways with sellers are just ridiculously overpricing. Okay, so my advice would be price for the market instead of the unicorn. If you're a flipper, an investor, make sure you look at actual comps. What is similar that's getting into contract? That's where your market's at. Okay, but here's a big dynamic in our market where you might find future clients. I don't want to understate the Bay, but look, how many people are coming from the Bay Area each year to the Sacramento region? Over 27,000 according to the Greater Sacramento Economic Council. Okay, that's in a 6-county region surrounding Sacramento. Now, let me ask you this question. Are these all buyers? No. How many sales do we have in Sac, Placer, Yolo, and El Dorado each year? Does anyone know? Single family? Come on, you guys, this is like real estate Jeopardy. Okay, we have somewhere between 27,000 and 30,000 sales each year. And so sometimes sellers will look at this and go, oh my gosh, this is crazy. This is a whole year's worth of buyers. But these are men, women, and children coming to the market, okay? Those are definitely not all buyers. Now, if they come in the rental market, could that make the rental market really tight? Absolutely. Okay, are rents skyrocketing right now? Okay, rents were going really aggressive, and they're starting to flatten out a little bit. The rental market is really, really tight though. Okay, but we're just not seeing crazy increases in rent, but you kind of see it slowing down a little bit. So it's interesting. So the sentiment, though, here's the big question, because can Bay Area buyers save our market in 2019 from slowing down? And what would you say? What would your answer be? You're like, yes, they will. That's right. So yes or no? No. Okay, so I like to answer this question with a question, and I say, did they save our market from slowing down in 2018? No. So what makes us think that they would save our market in 2019 from slowing down if they couldn't pull that off these past 2 quarters that were really dull, which I'll show you in just a minute. Okay, do you guys want some more gloomy news? Yeah. Oh, yes, all right. So here's positive news with a little bit of like, huh? So here are the number of newly constructed properties. The market bottomed out right here, and you can kind of see that what's happened over time? More new homes, right? Okay, great news. We've seen developments everywhere, but what happened last year to this year? Down 10%. And so has anyone noticed builders maybe courting the real estate community a little more? They seem a little bit more desperate. For a long time, builders would not talk to realtors. They don't go to real estate offices, but now they're like, hey guys, what's going on? We have these special packages, and there's one builder who's going around. I swear I've seen him on Facebook Live a couple times. Every real estate office I've been in, yeah, they were here last week. We have this $30,000 commission, and if you sign up, if you get the buyer signed, $15,000 then, $15,000 at the close of escrow. Like, you can kind of see that the market has changed because builders don't do stuff like that when the market is blazing hot, do they? Okay, so if we're looking for any leading indicators in the market, I would say, if anything, what happens with new construction is really important. Okay, a lot of people say, they throw out these metrics. They're like, oh, what the housing affordability index is the thing to watch, the median price, or sales of Lucky Charms boxes, or they have all these ideas. But I would say this is actually a big one. What happens with new construction? So if we see the market suffer, even though we have a housing shortage and we see this tick down over time, then we'll know that, okay, the market started to change. Does that make sense? Yeah. Here's a different way to look at this. Is anyone on Twitter? Okay, no. Okay, a few people. I know a few of you are because we talk all the time, Michael and everyone. So Len Kiefer is an economist for Freddie Mac. He is awesome. He put together this graph. Here are sales since 1968, new starts. What do we notice in recent time compared to the previous years? Can we see that new construction has been way down? And really, it was only 1 year where it was this low, back in '82, Uncle Rico. No, okay, I'm just kidding. But back in '82, I love getting to talk about Uncle Rico. So you know I'm really mature, guys. So what was happening in 1982 that caused new construction to be down so much? Interest rates were at 16 to 18%, right? And so you literally had builders sending 2x4s to the chair of the Federal Reserve, and they'd write messages that say, we cannot build in this environment, we need help, please lower rates. So you can see that rates can matter, but you could kind of see that we have a problem in our country. We have a housing shortage, we have investors who entered the market in a grand scale. We need to build houses. In California, it almost seems impossible and hopeless, to build affordable housing. It's just not cost effective, right? Will, right? Sierra Bay, right? You know what I'm saying? It's just so expensive. Yeah. So are you guys down to look at some local trends? Okay. So this is the median price in the Sacramento region. What do you guys notice happening over time? Okay, so it's definitely up. And what else? Do we see that seasonal thing? Okay, but sometimes the real estate community is like, values are always going up. Well, no, they're not, right? During the beginning of the year, values tend to go up, then they soften in the middle of the year, and then they go down, right? It's like this seasonal rhythm. It's like night and day. There's a rhythm to almost everything in life, and the same thing in real estate. But what happens every year around this time when the market starts to soften? What do people start to say? Okay, Christmas, definitely. The bubble's here, right? And so some people right here, they're like, oh, trust me. But then I look at their Facebook post from right there and right there and right there, and I'm like, dude, you've been prophesying this bubble for the last 5 years, and you don't have credibility, right? And so sometimes let's be careful what we say, but I think we're making some big mistakes sometimes in real estate by not honoring and really respecting and understanding how the market moves seasonally, okay? But with that being said, here's what the market looks like 2005 versus right now. And so when you see a graph like that, what do you think? What's that? Yeah, let's get back there, right? Can you see why I think even though I know economists and real estate geeks would be like, well, it's not the same thing because of inflation, and once you factor in inflation, it's not the same. Okay, yes. I think when the general public sees this, though, they go, oh, man, we're getting a lot higher. And so, but the thing that we have to remember, there's no such thing as a bubble formula. Like if we get back to $395, our median price, does that mean that the market would pop? No. We have a fundamentally different market today. And I know people who preach bubble and doom and gloom, they hate when people say that. But it's true. This market was entirely built on, This market was built on fraud. You had the ticking time bomb of adjustable rate mortgages. We have a much different market. There's some, I think, unhealthy aspects. We'll unpack those things, but it's a way different market being driven by different things. Very strict underwriting today. So far, unless where you're like 0% down. Have you been hearing that stuff? What could go wrong? Hey, let's get rid of appraisers. Let's waive appraisals, right? What could go wrong, guys? And you guys are like, yes. Here's a different way. Oops. Okay, let's look at this one first. This is a Freddie Mac price index from 1975 through now. What do you guys notice? Feel free to speak. I don't have that cube, but that's okay. What do we notice? Yeah. It's hard to mistake that. It's like, oh my gosh. And then we're up here, oh, it's all going to crash again. But do we see this cycle happening in real estate? Like here's a cycle. Here's a cycle. Okay, that was a big one, and that was big. But do we see how there's this rhythm to the market when we back up, 40, 50 years? It's almost like the thing that happens with median price every year. We see it happening on the grand scale, right? Do you guys believe in the 7-year rule? Like the market changes every 7 years. Okay, the market does not have to change every certain number of years, but we do kind of see this cycle where it's like, gosh, every 7 to 8 or so years, It seems like the market wants to do something different, okay? Now, the market has been slowing down a lot, and I'll show you what that means, but I think sometimes today what's happening is that as the market slows, we're starting to say it's starting, to be a meltdown. We don't have the stats to say that we're experiencing a meltdown right now. We do not. I'm not ready to say that, and that's not what the stats show, okay? So here's a different way to look at the market. Here's the median price in Sacramento County. We had an up years from basically 98 through 2005. Here's down years in blue, and here's up years. So we've had this 7-year run, and people are like, the 7-year rule, we're here. Maybe, maybe not, but do you see why I think some people are like, well, we know we're not at the beginning of the cycle, where it certainly feels like we're heading towards the higher end of the cycle, okay? Are we? And we know, and some people are like, hey man, we're just normalizing, we're gonna ride off into stability into the future. It's just gonna go flat. So, I don't know, there's so many things that drive a market. Let me share some more thoughts, and then we'll see. Ask that question again. So here's days on market. What do you see with days on market in Sacramento County? So here's 2013 through 19. In black is September through December each year. What normally happens in the fall? It takes longer to sell, right? Then what happens in the spring every year, like clockwork? Does it take more or less time to sell? Less. Okay, so would we expect in this spring, if we have a normal spring season, it's going to take less time to sell? Absolutely. Do you see that rhythm? We're expecting the rhythm. We're real estate professionals. We know what the rhythm's like, okay? But what do you notice right now, this year, compared to the last couple? Right here. It took longer to sell. So the market feels a lot more dull. We've been more like about 50 days. It's a lot different than the Blackstone days when everything was selling very quickly. It's like, as an appraiser, I'm like, well, wait, there was only one offer. What's wrong with the property, right? And now you're like, hallelujah, we got an offer, right? So here we are. This year, this January, it took how many days to sell in the region? 55. Let's compare the market and ask the question, how is this year different than the same time last year? And when we do that, how long did it take to sell last year at the same time? 43 days. So let's do some quick math. It took how much longer to sell this year? 12 days. So sometimes if you're talking with the seller, drop a metric on him and say, look, it took 12 days longer this year compared to last year to sell, and that tells us that the market is a lot slower. That doesn't mean that things are melting down, but it just means that, yes, buyers have gained some power. Okay, it's not the market of Uncle Rico from 2013 when things were going up crazy. It's a market that's a lot slower. And so you think about that when you flip a property, you've got to be in tune with the market. You don't want to price like it's 2013. You've got to price probably more consistently with some of the pendings. Don't get too carried away. This was a market 8-9 years ago. It was regularly taking about 100 days to sell. Okay, it's a blessing in a market, especially as an investor, when you sell stuff and you can minimize your holding costs, right? So even though we're 50 days, much better than 100. Here's a cool way to look at the market, though. And what do you notice when you look at the number of multiple offers this year compared to last year at the same time? Less. Okay, and when we look at it from a percentage standpoint, and do the math, it ends up being about 11 to 12% less multiple offers this year compared to last year. So it took 12 days longer to sell. We have 11 to 12% less offers going on. Can we see that the market is slower? Like, it's not just this article saying, oh, the market slowed down, the Sacramento Bee or publications. It's like, no, there's something legitimately happening, right? You guys tracking with me? Okay. Housing inventory. Has anyone noticed more homes for sale lately? Yeah, absolutely. So here's housing supply since 2014. What do we notice happening lately compared to these last couple years? It's up. Yeah. But what do we notice compared to 2014? It's still lower. So compared to the last couple years, the market feels way different, a lot more dull. Compared to 2014, a lot of people were putting on their prophet hats saying the market's going to crash, okay? But sometimes today we forget that the market was a lot duller then. So let me ask you this question. Is it normal to have a 5-month supply of homes for sale? We hear this all the time in real estate. Depends. What would you say, yes or no for Sacramento? No. Okay, that's the right answer. Anytime we've been over 4 over the past 20 years, values have been going down, definitely. Sorry, I just put a Tic Tac in my mouth, and I think you're going to hear it in the mic, so my bad. But I smell really good, so it's all good. So what about above $1 million? Is it normal to have a 5-month supply at that price range? Or even more, okay? What about if you have a 5-month supply of homes for sale under 300,000? The market would be destroyed. Here's what the market looks like with inventory by price range. The higher you go, the more inventory there is. So right now there's almost 9 months worth of $1 million sales in Sacramento. But you can kind of see that under 400,000, there's about a month and a half. So the market under 400 would feel more competitive. Half the market is fighting for that price point, okay? Does anyone know what the median price is in Sacramento? What's that? Okay, a lot of numbers. Okay, it's been hovering somewhere between 350 to 365 lately. And what does the median price mean? It's the one in the middle. Half the sales are below and half are above. So half the market right now is literally fighting for properties under 365. Okay, it's good to know. What do you notice about sales volume over time? Consistent. Do you see that? It's like an EKG. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, and what happens during the second part of the year, every single year? What does sales volume do? It goes down. So here's the question. Are we surprised that sales volume went down at the second half of 2018? No. Would we expect if we have a normal market that sales volume would go up? Absolutely. Okay, now we'll get to that. I'll skip that stuff. Okay, here's January. Let's start to get into some of the stats that you doom and gloomers are like, yes. So here's sales volume by month. Here is January since 2001. What do you notice about this January compared to all the other previous Januaries? I know there's a lot of graph reading, and some of you are like, oh my gosh, I did not come to a graph class. Sorry. Do you see this January was a lot lower, and there are actually only a couple Januaries that were as low? That is volume, the number of sales. Okay? And so sometimes when you've been reading in the paper or talking to people that volume's been down, like it has been legitimately down. It was actually the worst January since the market was crashing in 2007, 2008. Okay? So interesting things. Here's a way to look at volume. Now, I know there's a lot of numbers here. PowerPoint gurus would be like, don't ever show a slide like this. This is so important. Okay, think about your business and how you're positioning yourself. What do we notice about January sales volume this year compared to previous years? Okay, it was down about 21%. Okay, now what about the region when we look at 12 months of sales? What do we notice? Down a little bit, down about 5%. It's kind of like one of those things where I'm like, hey, you know, I'm down 25 pounds when I look at the big picture and it sounds glowing, but then when I look up close and it's like, no, I'm up 15. It's kind of that dynamic where we're like, look, the past 12 months we're only down 5%, but then we start to look close and go, wait, what's starting to happen? Same thing in the region, down 18% and down about 6%. Now, do you guys remember what happened in our market in November? Besides, run to feed the hungry, anyone do that? Okay, I was there. What else happened in our market? El Fuego. Did anyone have a mask? Yeah? I went to Lowe's. They were like sold out a couple times, right? I sucked it up like a real man. No, so We were wearing breathing masks because of the campfire. So in some senses, we probably had less pendings in November and December that became sales in January. But let's not blame the campfire on the reason for why sales volume's down, okay? Here's a way to look at the market. I can email this to you later. Let's not get too bogged down in this. Basically, sales volume has been down for about 8 months in a row in Sacramento County, okay? Sales volume in the region has been down about 8 months in a row. Okay, that's kind of like a stat where we're looking going, what's beginning to happen? Now, I'm going to show you a graph of what sales volume did in 2005 when the bubble started to pop. What do you think it's going to look like with volume? Same or worse? Better? Here's what it looked like. We were routinely down, 20 to 30% plus. When you compare this year to the year previously, where we'd go, wow, there's 30% less sales. Now, in the county and in the region, we're starting to have some higher numbers where it's like, wow, 15 to 20% or so less sales compared to the previous year. Okay? So I know it's hard to share real estate stats. Does anyone, how many realtors are in the room? Okay, there's a lot of you guys. All right. So I know when you're talking to clients, you're like, how do I talk about this market? Because they're watching on Facebook Live and they're like, hey, I'm not going to buy a home this year, right? Realtors are like, I hate you. No, but seriously, a lot of buyers are kind of wondering, they're like, should I sit? What should I be doing? But I know it's hard to share stats sometimes, and so I wanted to give you a really good way to do that, because I know it's not so easy. And so when you're sharing a dismal stat, one thing you can do is just share a picture of a dog, okay? Like, you're like, sales volume is down 11%, it's not that hard. Or go with me here. You could be like, sales volume we had the worst January since 2008, right? That's Ollie. That's our rescue. There's an element of uncertainty in the market, right? Okay, I'm just joking, but seriously, if you do this on Facebook, tag me. I'd love to see you do that. But here's the big question, though. It was a really dull fall. We've seen volume slump. Is it something more that's happening in the market or not? And I would say yes, absolutely, but I'm not saying that that's a meltdown, okay? So I want to show you some things on price momentum. Let's look at the real estate bubble, then I'll have some closing thoughts on maybe some ways to focus business. Okay, stick with me here. Here's price momentum. The market has slowed with prices lately. Am I like too tall now? Okay, I didn't want to screw that up. So here's January sales all these years. What do you notice about the rate of change, the way prices have changed through the years lately? Slowing. So we hear that the market's slowing, or you're an investor and you're going to list something and you need to realize that prices have slowed down. Sellers are stuck back here thinking that we're seeing these 20% increases every single year, like that Uncle Rico thing. We're stuck in the past, but realizing that, wow, we've seen really modest price growth. Has anyone pulled comps in a neighborhood lately and then you compare it to last year and you think, it's a little bit different, but it's not all that much different sometimes, right? It's like the owner who called me and was like, I bought in 2017 and I need to remove PMI, and they're expecting that their house is worth $50,000 more. And it's like, well, I know you bought it $390. It's probably not worth $450 yet, you know? But let's look at the past 90 days. What do you notice about the rate of change? The past 90 days, when we're looking at all these numbers, would you say a similar trend? Do you see how the market's slowing, right? Or when we look at the past year of sales and we compare the past year to all these different years, do you see what is happening in the market? Yeah. Now, remember that one thing, that whole like 40 pounds versus 25 pounds? When we're like, hey, look, when we look at the past year, the market's still up 5%. This is so good. This is fine. But then we start to drill down and look a little closer. We're like, oh, we're seeing the market slow more. Okay? And so the question is what's it slowing to? You know, is it slowing? Is it gonna, be normal? Is it gonna, correct by 10%, or is it gonna utterly implode? And I'm selling my, ebook to tell you everything later. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think anyone knows that answer yet. In some senses, here's what I think we need to do. I'll show you maybe what to focus on, but we don't know the answer yet. It's like a dating relationship where if you begin dating someone, you need a little bit of time to figure out where the relationship's going to go. Or maybe you need a lot of time. You're like, we've been dating for 8 years and still don't know. Like, let's talk later, okay? Okay? With real estate stats, we're watching the numbers and we don't know yet. We're like, here are some warning signs, and the market's prices are slowing, sales volume slumping. Okay, I do have a positive thing to end on in a sec here, but it's kind of slowdown versus meltdown. I think this is only a question that could be answered over time. But right now, I think it is incorrect to call this a meltdown because the market literally is not melting down. It is definitely slowing down now. Okay, can we look at housing bubble real quick? Is that cool? Okay, there's some really important takeaways. So what happened to inventory when the bubble started to pop? Because these are clues maybe, even though we don't have to, the market doesn't have to behave the same way, but in 2005, we'd say the bubble popped here. What happened over the course of 3 months? Inventory doubled. Okay, then over the course of 1 year, we saw the number of listings, inventory almost triple. Okay, so we went from just over 2 months to all of a sudden an 8-month supply in just 12 months. And so if you're looking for changes in the market, if you're trying to figure out what's the market doing, pay really close attention to what's happening with the listings. Okay, when we have a market where listings stop selling, then we know that something is going on here. Okay, here was sales volume during the same period where inventory tripled, but sales volume, we had this normal rhythm, boom, 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 and it just dropped by 43% in 1 year. And so we had a market where if you want to see change in a market, it's about what's happening in the listings. And then as we start to see change in the sales, the number of sales, if properties are no longer selling, that is a clue that the market has begun to change in a more significant way. Okay, now here's the big thing though. Prices during the same period. Okay, we had a market, inventory tripled, sales volume was tanking by 40% in the region. The median price was down by 6% in Sacramento County, and the average price was down only 4%. So the market is utterly imploding, but we don't see it in the prices yet. Isn't that crazy? I tell real estate friends, I'm like, you could have literally sent out your fax machine market plan, back in the day, and you could have said, here's a recipe for, grandma's chocolate chip cookies, and guess what? You may have heard the market's starting to sag a little bit. It's only down 5% though. But the bigger story was, no, the market was utterly imploding. We just didn't see the trend yet in the sales stats. So the worst thing you can do in a market that's changing is to focus too heavily on the sales. We're like looking, well, what are prices doing? That's really important. But before we see it show up in prices, we see the change in the listings and in volume activity. And then eventually that shows up in the price. Does that make sense? I just think, I look at that stuff, I go, that is such a good thing to look for in today's market, okay, as you're hunting out there in neighborhoods. That was definitely worth the price of admission, I think. So here's the big question. Then I want to show you, I think, one more graph. Are you guys graphed out? You're like, oh my gosh. Will buyers step on the gas or brakes in 2019? Okay. Has anyone noticed what's happening so far this year? How is the market different so far, January and February, compared to the last really dull 2 quarters? Anyone? Gas. What is causing the gas right now in the market? Low interest rates. Okay. Last year, early in the year, rates rose, and what did buyers do? Well, okay, first, buyers ran to the market. They were like, I need to get in before rates go up. But then rates went up again, and what did buyers do? They said, time out, I'm out of here. I don't know what's going on here. So we had a really, really dull 2 quarters. Mysteriously, I don't know how this happens, rates went down just in time for the spring season. And we're starting to see more interest in the market, okay? So here's a way to look at it. The number of pendings in January this year is about the same as the number of pendings in January last year, okay? Now this is really important because eventually these pendings will become sales in the next couple months. if we see normal pendings, we're going to see a normal amount of sales, okay? I think interest rates are a Band-Aid, though. They're a temporary, immediate steroid in the market. And I think there's room theoretically for more price growth. But if our price growth is only contingent on 4% rates, then does that sound healthy to you guys? No. And so it sounds like at some point in the market cycle, we would expect to see it change because that's what markets do. That doesn't mean implode, but we can kind of delay that change by saying 0% down, no appraisals. Let's get some steroids out in the market to help properties sell, okay? If we get down to 3.5% rates, I think the market would go berserk. It would go crazy. I kind of hope that we don't. I'm not sure that we want that, right? Okay, I guess there was more. The last thing, what do you see rates have done over since 1980, the past 40 years? What have interest rates done? They've dropped, okay? And in the background, what are these right here? The gray bars, recessions. There's a Sac State economics professor in here somewhere. Where are you? Yeah, he's like, thank you, Ryan. Thank you for sharing that. So what do we see happening here, though? Like, does it kind of look like at some point we might have another recession? Just when we think about the cycle of the market. I'm not getting all doom and gloom on you. I'm not saying the recession's going to happen this year or next year, but do we see kind of how there's in the normal course of business and life and economics that at some point we are poised to have a recession? It doesn't mean that it would be the Great Recession, but it means that at some point things will slow, right? So for you, that's probably something to plan for. Okay, whether that's tightening up your expenses or whether it's growing your money or getting your lenders in place, whatever that would look like. But here's some thoughts I have. For what it's worth, maybe some ways to focus business. Take it or leave it. Here's some things that I'm thinking about, though. I'd encourage you to watch for what is normal versus not in today's market. Every month that comes, ask yourself, what is February normally like? What normally happens in the market in February? Okay, March is on Friday. What normally happens to the market in March? What's normal for volume or prices or inventory? Okay, I have graphs like this every month. Please rely on them. Okay, obviously if you're a realtor, check out Trend Graphics. I mean, there's so many different sources in the market, okay? I'd say be careful about regurgitating sensational headlines, though, okay? We are gonna have no shortage of crazy headlines. Okay, but the problem is that when we're looking at headlines, sometimes we're missing stats, right? Did you know that the homeownership rate for people under 35 is actually growing? But sometimes the news cycle is like, millennials hate houses. They don't want to buy because they're too, playing games and texting. And, but it's like you look at the stats and go, they are buying. So sometimes we have to divorce ourselves from the headline and to look at the actual numbers, okay? Please don't be a real estate prophet, because I'm going to screenshot you on Facebook. No, I'm just kidding. I won't do that. So, be prepared more than ever for bubble conversations, especially if you're in a selling position. You need to get really good at navigating this conversation. Okay, it's on people's minds. Okay, people are wondering, are we in another bubble? And in some senses, I don't know how productive that conversation ends up being. I think sometimes when people ask that, they're just asking, is it a good time to buy, or what does it look like to afford the market? Just realize this, most people do not buy based on what the cycle's doing. Most people buy because it makes sense for their wallet and their finances at the time. Almost everyone I asked, 2012, you bought at the very bottom of the market. Did you know it was the bottom? Guess what they say? No. Maybe I'd ask in this room and you guys would be like, oh, I bought everything in 2011. No, you didn't, because remember that one graph with 3,000 sales on 100,000? Everyone's like, I wish, right? It's hard for professionals to even time the market, okay? So let's be real. Price according to listings that are getting into contract, okay? I know sometimes it's tense when the appraiser gets out and you pray more than ever before the appraiser comes. But realize just in a market that's slowing, the market is seen in what is getting into contract. Okay, it doesn't matter if you're thinking the market is really aggressive. What is actually similar that's getting into contract? That is the market. Okay, and I can't emphasize that enough. In 2007, values were screaming down If we looked at the sales up here, we would miss the market because the market was seen in the pendings chasing down the market. That is the market. Does that make sense? I think we get so infatuated with just sales. Buy your flips with more room just in case, okay? You want to make sure, hopefully you can buy off MLS. I find have you guys found there's not that good of deals on MLS these days? Kind of when we only have 1% bank-owned properties, the deals disappear. I just recommend buy with a little bit more room just in case, because you never know, okay? Prepare your sellers for a market of more concessions, okay? I've seen it a lot of times in a lot of the sales I've been observing, even at high price ranges, we're seeing sellers giving a little bit more back, whether it's $2,000 or $5,000 or a few percent or whatever it is, credits for repairs. Okay? We're in a market where buyers are gaining more power, and especially if you're flipping, you have to realize that, and you have to be prepared. It's probably especially under 365, under the median price. You're in a market where you're probably going to have to give more. Has that been your experience? Right? You could stand up and be like, I don't give anything. Okay, that's fine. Good luck, right? Help buyers be realistic about the power that they have. For any realtors in the room, please just let buyers know that they can't offer $1 on properties, right? It's not a market where they're dominating, okay? I think that we still have an undersupply of homes. We're not quite to a buyer's market. I think sellers are still running the show, not by too much. There's no formula for how a market has to change or correct. Let's remember that. Increase your valuation skills. I just say, how can you get good at value in a market that's changing? What skills are you going to need to have in the next couple years? Okay, that's a critical question. And sometimes we don't ask those questions until we need the skills, right? Like me raising teenagers. Darn it, I should have read those books the last couple years. And anyway. Sellers are likely going to struggle with overpricing, okay? So find a way around that. Okay, you have to get good at managing this conversation and pointing them to reality. Okay, drop some stats on them. 15% cash buyers. What are we doing pricing for 15% of the market? Why don't we think about 85%? Okay, it took 11 days long or 12 days longer to sell. There's 11% less multiple offers. Those are powerful stats. Boom, boom, boom. They're right here. Look for sellers who want to exit the market. Okay, there's not a lot of incentive for some sellers to sell right now, unless they're looking to exit the market, right? Because if they sell, where are they going to go? They're going to buy something that's priced really high. Unless they need to upsize or downsize, they're probably going to stay put, especially if they have a really sweet 3.5% loan, right? So look for the sellers who do want to move out of the market. Okay. Speaking of which, keep an eye on migration patterns. Anytime the SACB or anyone in the region publishes stats from U-Haul or any company dealing with migration, pay attention, okay? Where are Californians moving most? What states? Yeah. Arizona, Texas, Nevada, Oregon, and there's a lot of Idaho, okay? A lot of Idaho. And it's interesting because you read articles, the New York Times wrote something where you see people are moving towards the middle of the country where it's more affordable. And so it's almost like we are the Bay Area buyers to Texas and all these other states, okay? Watch for Bay Area sellers looking to exit the market and move to Sacramento, okay? Now, I wouldn't bank all your business on this, okay? But you got to be looking for the trends, the mentality. If the market did correct at some point, you're going to have people who are like, I'm going to list and I want to get out of here and I want to move to a lower price market. So Bay Area will do that, get to Sacramento, and Sacramento will do that in Austin or in Boise or wherever. Mike Goby, Mike is here? Yeah, Mike is the man. And I always tell this, yes, he is. So, yeah. So I always share this question that Mike asks, and I always give him credit. I don't like to pretend like stuff is mine when it's not. I don't know where Mike. If Mike, is this original? I shouldn't ask. Anyway, you can tell me later. But he's got this great thing. Which house do you want to ride down the market in? Okay. For someone who's sitting on the fence and thinking, I don't know what to do. I don't know if I want to buy in this market. Should I switch homes? I mean, there's a viable question, where do you want to lose? Okay? If the market did correct in a big way, you're going to lose value no matter where you are. And so the question becomes, which house do you want to ride down the market in? Okay, I just think it's a powerful question. I think it's an honest question without the pressure. So kudos to you, Mike. The last one, watch sales volume and listings in particular. Okay, like I said, how would we know if the market was changing more significantly? We would know if this slump continues. Okay, if this slump does not continue and we see that, hey, things normalize, then we'll say, okay, the market has normalized more for 2019. If the slump continues and we persist to see sales volume down 15 to 20%, then that's going to be a problem. One quick thing, sales volume is going to be down in February. Okay, it will be down 15 to 20%, but remember, February sales reflect the market from about December and some of January. The pendings, they close in February. The market was really dull then. So where are we going to see today's market? We're going to see it in the pendings in January and February. So does that make sense? Does that sound too geeky? I mean, the only way to see the market today is going to be through the pendings and the listings. The last thing I'd just say, study the market so you can anticipate who your future clients are going to be. Whatever you're doing with investment or real estate, who are you going to be working for in 2019 and 2020 based on how the market's moving? Often we don't ask this question until we need the answer in the moment. Wisdom says, ask the question right now before the market changes more. Does that make sense? Like for me as an appraiser, I've seen the lending world has been somewhat of a sinking ship and a changing thing. And so I've tried to diversify my business out of doing just lender appraisals because they're like, hey man, we're just going to waive that. And you know what I'm saying? And so wherever you're at. This is my contact information. If you want a copy of this presentation, send me an email, or you can text me your email address. That's completely fine. But that's my spiel. I have a weekly blog post just to talk about the market. Once a month, I have a ridiculously long post to unpack like this right here. Okay, was that helpful, guys? Okay, cool. So if everyone is still awake, we can do questions if anyone has anything to say. Market stuff, appraisal stuff, or yeah, Will.
Yeah, kind of multi-layered question. So we had a kind of a unique position in the last about 6 days. So we had the S&P and the Dow go through its change. We had a government shutdown, a slower than normal fourth quarter. What impact do you think all of those things happening at one time had on the numbers that we're seeing right now to create this abnormal market?
No, definitely. So I'd say the abnormal market or the slump, it's been going on for 8 months. And so let's realize that first. But I'd say that just highlights uncertainty is the word of 2019, right? Politics especially, right? Let's not go there. But here's my take on the stock market, though. Most people don't derive their income from the stock market, so it may not affect so many of their real estate decisions. For stockbrokers and stuff, I mean, that's huge. For your average, Joe and Gina, it might not impact things much. But if uncertainty persists, then that's going to be a problem, because if it impacts confidence among buyers and makes people say, I don't want to buy, then that's a real problem. I don't know that the government shutdown did anything. Maybe in Washington, D.C. and in big federal towns, but I don't think in our town. I didn't see anything there. So. Thank you so much.
One of the factors that really impacts affordable housing today that people aren't talking too much about is the consistent rise in utility cost. So you've got water bills going up, electric bills going up, gas bills going up. If you're in exclusively a PG&E territory, your bill's going to be higher than if you're getting SMUD and PG&E together, et cetera, et cetera. So there have been, I've been away from the business for a while. I used to be in the mortgage banking business and been away from that for a long time. But I've heard that there were discussions about appraisers being able to take into consideration energy efficiency and solar in the appraisal valuation. So our home, we did a energy retrofit. We reduced our utility bill from $375 a month to $40 a month.
That's
So
great.
literally, my home, which was built in 1958, has a $300 lower utility bill than any of the like homes on the same street in my neighborhood. So theoretically, I could sell it for $60,000 more money, and yet the mortgage payment at the same interest rate and the utility bill would be the same. So have there been any adjustments for energy efficient homes where you can make some adjustments to pricing for a lower utility bill?
So I'll say that is a really big baby to give birth to. Okay, so let me give you like a real quick answer. Here's the thing: will the market in one instance pay for the full benefit and advantage that you're going to experience over the course of 20 to 25 years? I would say no. So the solar salesman says, "Hey, bro, $60,000 system is going to equal $60,000 in value." I've never met a buyer who said, "I would love to pay $60,000 more right now for the benefit of the solar." Is it worth something? Definitely, especially in PG&E territory. I know someone in El Dorado Hills who wants to move just to save money on energy. Okay, is it worth $60,000 the full cost? I'm very, very skeptical of that. I don't think buyers think that way. Very hard to achieve dollar for dollar in real estate in almost anything, except if you're on HGTV. So, very easy to flip there. So,
All right. Any other questions? Oh, we got Ari.
I think this is probably going to be the last one. Everyone's like glazed over, like we need to go. Okay, so let's make this the last one. I'll stick around though.
Thank you very much. I was just curious, do you see a strong correlation between the real estate prices and population growth here? Is it, I guess so it's a two-part question. So as prices go up or down, do you see a strong correlation to population going up or down? Then also, the slide you had up, it said 27,000 people or something like that come over a year from the Bay Area. I was curious how many people are leaving as well, and if there's a delta there versus just the influx.
Gotcha. I don't have good stats on leaving. That's something. It's not always easy to find stuff like that. So if anyone has the source for that, I'm open ears. But yeah, I mean, I don't know that we have a market where we're not Flint, Michigan, or somewhere that's really struggling, where everyone is leaving, because the auto manufacturers died. If anything, I think we're starting to get some more positive news in town with the economy. And some businesses coming into town it's actually good news. But I don't have anything compelling to say. I don't want to ramble. But I'd say that as population grows, the very unfortunate thing, though, is we're not building enough housing units, and that puts the squeeze on both rents and values. And we have a real problem in Sacramento and in most places in California. And so that's my big takeaway. That's the thing that I'm always thinking about. So thank you, guys. I appreciate your time. I'll stick around.
Alrighty. Okay, we got a little bit more of the program. So just one thing I wanted to say is, if you didn't get a chance to check in, we collect emails there, and we'll be sending out the slides to everybody who registered. So make sure you do that if you want to get a copy of both Ryan's slides. And then we also include the general slides from the meetup in there as well. So we're not done. We still have a little bit more meetup to go. Alrighty. Anybody have any wins they want to share? Anybody closed on any deals, bought any property? Passed their real estate license? Want to say something? No? Any wins? Oh, Lionel. Lionel is now our short sale expert in the community.
1%? So today I just got back word that the short sale we were working on for 4 months finally got approved. So, woo! It's going to be our first flip for Sierra Bay, or at least with Sierra Bay. And the other win I had was last week I got into contract with another buyer out in Rancho Cordova. So that's my 2 wins.
Anybody else? All right. Oh, Nurbinator.
Hey, what's happening? Wow, that's really loud. I got one of my first land deals in contract. That was super cool. So market value is 100. I got it in contract for 61, and then I sold it for 80. So that was really cool. Thank you. That was in Texas.
Yeah, awesome. Cool. Nerby's doing some real cool stuff if you want to find out about the awesome stuff he's doing. That was a land deal in Texas, which I think is fascinating. Pitches. Anybody got something they're selling? Anybody, any deals? Come on up if you want to talk about your deal. No? Shane? Shane's got a deal. Oh. Okay, we got Shane and Will.
Hey, I've got a couple. One of them is an up-and-coming home in Tahoe Park. They're redoing the kitchen. Should be coming on in a few weeks. So if anyone's looking in the Tahoe Park area, around $350 price range, let me know. And then we're also potentially going to grab another home in Arden Park to flip. So we're looking for financial investors to come hop on that. It's very closely identical to what we have in our other Arden Park one. The rehab estimate's the same, comps very similar, and we're set to profit about 140, 150-ish or so. So if you're interested, talk to me or Will about that.
Guys, this is kind of a win/loss. I have one of the lowest price per square foot listings in Elk Grove. It's on Wood Willow Lane, and all of the comps within a half mile are priced at about $265 a square foot. This place had a really sloppily done, I don't know if that's a word, addition, where they didn't do stucco paint matching. Floors need to be redone and a few things like that, but it's well worth the list price. I got them into contract on their dream home in Rancho Murrieta, and 24 minutes after we accepted the counter today, the buyer fell out on our house in Elk Grove. So we're getting ready to go back on the market. 4100 Wood Willow Lane in Elk Grove, priced at $399. We were in contract at $412.5. So if you're interested in a really good deal in Elk Grove for a little equity position with a little bit of sweat equity, please give me a call. Thank you.
Awesome. Any other deal pitches? How about anybody want to pitch their business? Anybody got small? Yeah, Ari, come on up. We always like when money pitches.
Broken record. Hey guys, we'll make it quick. My name is Ari. I'm a private lender in the area in Sac here, and we'll loan up to 90% of your acquisition cost and 90% of your rehab. We got a transparent process, well capitalized, and look at a variety of different projects. Also play matchmaker as well if you have an investment that you're looking to make and you're looking for an active or a passive investor. We fund 90%, and oftentimes I can help you fill the gap as well if that's something you're interested in. Anyways, thank you very much. Marissa, yes, in front here. Well, one has to. That's an excellent question. Yes, we do. So for our private lending loans, we do look at credit, we look at liquidity, and we'll factor in experience. You don't. Yeah. Yes, Marissa. If you have shit credit, I can point you to a guy who can help you fix your credit. We can't typically look at a loan if you have below 600. Yes. That's not a problem. We could still work with you. No. Not necessarily. We'll have. It depends. Are you still asking? Yeah. Process is 7 to 8 days from start to finish, from the day you bring the deal to the day it closes. All right. Yeah, you can contact me. You could hit me up for a card, or you can email me at Ari, spelled A-R-I, like Alpha, Roger, Indigo, at orchardfunding.com. Orchard, like an apple orchard. Funding, like fun, ends in ding. Yes. Yes, sir. You say.
That would be a yes. James?
Any veterans in the room? Veterans? All right. I retired from the Air Force 20 years, and after getting out, I've been a real estate investor for the last 13 years, and we're now moving into helping a lot more veterans start and own their own business. So we are actually going into service to CEO. I have an office, and on Thursday, if you know any veterans or know that you'd like to pass this on, we are taking applications for people that want to get mentored within starting their own business. Service to CEO, it's from Rosie's Network from San Diego, and we're going to be doing it on Thursday at my office. So if you are interested or know of it, please talk to me before you go, and I'll send over a flyer, or I'll send it to you, and you can get it out to everyone. And the second thing is we've contracted with the American River College, and on June 14th, we're going to be doing an evening concert. That's going to wrapped around, well, it's just music from the veterans. And then on Saturday, we're doing a whole entire ecosystem for entrepreneurs, real estate veterans, and that's going to be focused on the Freedom Summit. So if you're interested in that, we'll get that out to everyone else. And so if you know any veterans, we're actually moving into helping them become entrepreneurs. So appreciate it. Thanks, everyone.
Anybody else? You got something?
Just wanted to say, Scott again, electrical contractor in Sacramento, certified in California. So I can offer my electrical services for experience in real estate investing. If I can do ride-alongs with anybody who's doing certain investment tasks that I can pick up knowledge, I can either share knowledge or give quotes or actually complete projects or whatever you need me to do, licensed, bonded, and insured in California. So anybody open to that, I'd be happy to work with you.
So we got someone right here. So this is Dwight. He's the owner of the Fulton 80 Tap House. And he's got lights in the back for our stage that we've been talking about putting up. And we were just saying right before the meeting today, wouldn't that be great if we knew of an electrician somewhere?
Who's willing to donate?
Yeah, exactly. Trade. So yes, we'd love to talk to you about, he's not even paying attention. All righty. Yeah. So we've got some electrical work for here, putting some lights up here in the, all righty. Resources, anybody read any good books, podcasts? Oh, you got to, oops, I'm sorry. You can speak up, man. Sorry.
Hi, my name is Matt Deutschman. I'm with Next Home Select. I have a fixer in Vacaville. It's a 2,000 square feet, asking $425,000. I'll be here. Let me know.
Thanks, Matt. Sorry about that. All right, resources. Anybody got any good books? Jen? No resources this time? The Power of Broke. Oh, Damon John from Shark Tank. Awesome. All right. Anybody else? So, oh, nice. So I forgot to update the slide, but I just finished. It's called Predictably Irrational. It's about behavioral economics. It is a fantastic book. So Bold was also a great book. That was my choice last time. Jen, want to tell us about the book club?
Yes, I would love to tell you all night. Never split the difference. I think we're going to do it at a different location.
Oh, that's right.
We haven't heard back. We don't know if we're going to do it at a different. I will let you know. Can we do it here? Monday, March 4th. We're going to do it right here. Or in there? Cool.
We'll figure it out. Anyways.
I will send out an email. Oh, thanks. Okay, figured that one out. Yeah.
Good job. All right. Hey, the book clubs are a really great little small part of our community. What I really like about it is I don't really like to read, so Jen reads all the books and then tells me what they're about. The tagline is it's so nerdy it has to be cool. All right. We also have a little deal maker incubator going on. If you're interested in learning more about doing deals, talk to Jennifer. We also have a Facebook group page. That's where you'll find about all these future events going on. Connect with your fellows. I've done deals off our page. And then you can get updates on all our future events. Meetup. Just want to point out we now have 124 straight 5-star reviews. We had a lot of new people here tonight, so I want to thank all the people coming out, and I think a big bunch of them came from both Meetup and our Facebook promotions. YouTube. So all the content that we're recording now, we now have content up there. We have all the interviews that Steve does with our guest speakers and people from the community. And now we have the first 3 full-length videos from the meetups that we've had this year so far. So they're the full. Now, I don't know if you've noticed what Colton's doing, but we embed the slides in the video, so you get to hear the speaker talking about the slides in real time while you're looking at the slides.
And I thought it was magic.
It is magic. It's real awesome. Colton does a great job making sure that all happen. We're still trying to get to our 100 subscribers. To get into the bigger ecosphere in the YouTube world, you have to have at least 100 subscribers. So these will be on the slides that we send out, so make sure you follow the link and subscribe. And once again, you can check out all this. Ryan's video should be up in the next couple of days, so if he was going through those charts and graphs a little too fast for you, they'll be up there. Then you can follow along with the slides we'll email as well. Okay, so we got some great stuff coming up. Bruce Norris is another great guy on timing market cycles. He's got data going back 40 years on California. And I think he's got a little different take on what's happening. He's also really big in starting to invest in other parts of the country. So it's really interesting to hear. He's going to be speaking at the NorCal area on March 13th. We're all about getting great content out there, and I don't mind promoting the other groups when they have speakers that I think you guys should check out. Bruce Norris is a must. Also, Mike Morliangelo runs the Bay Area Wealth Builders meetup. It's a great meetup. We usually do a road trip out there a couple times a year. We just saw Robert Campbell in January. It was really interesting. So he's doing a Crush It class on March 23rd. If you want to bone up on your real estate analysis. He's one of the best guys with paper assets in the real estate world. Very clever real estate deal maker. So if you're interested in that. Also, we're going to have our next real estate roundtable road trip down to the San Jose area. It's one of the biggest in the area. They're going to have a speaker on self-storage. I've got a bunch of free passes for it, so they'll get the $40 value waived. I'll be following up with email. I'll be following up with emails about that. We have a handful of regulars that go on these road trips, and if you're really Jack, Colton, Nerby went with us last time. It was awesome. If you're really, like I said, this group is about getting to know each other to do deals. And, when you're stuck in the car with someone for 2.5 hours, you really get to know what's going on with them. So if you want to go down to check out the San Jose Rio with us, that will be on March 7th. Also, another interesting thing, a gal from Idaho reached out to me. She's doing a relocation. He's a hoe. So she's doing an Idaho residential relocation seminar, and some of the content, I talked to her on the phone, and she sounds pretty legit, so I said, you know what, this is really interesting. We talk a lot about investing out of the area. I don't know much about the Boise, Idaho area, so I plan on attending it. She's got 2 times coming up this weekend. Looks like 7 o'clock in Modesto. No, that won't apply, but noon on Saturday in Roseville. If you're interested in investing or relocating to the Idaho area, that sounds interesting. Okay, and future meetups. So next time we're going to be doing the mastermind table talk discussion. We did this the fourth quarter of last year, and it was one of our most popular events. We get facilitators from our own community here to talk about specific aspects, whether it's wholesaling, notes. Subject to is a big popular one. Cullen will be doing that again. Guido will be doing notes. That'll be on March 8th. And then followed by that, we're going to have Reed Switzer here. What's really interesting is these guys are coming from South Florida. They're doing a build-to-rent model. So they're building new construction for turnkey rentals. I don't know much about the South Florida market, but what's particularly interesting about these guys is they're the boots on the ground that Bruce Norris is working with there. So this will be a great, Bruce Norris will probably cover the macro reasons why to invest in Florida, and this will be kind of the micro actual deals that can be done. So that's going to be on March 25th. March 8th. Oops. March 13th. March 11th. Sorry. That should say March 11th. You'll get tons of emails, don't worry. Okay. Anybody have any aha moments? Do I?
It's not an aha moment.
It is an aha moment.
Hey, one of the things, and I think in the back there, you in the back, talking. Yeah, I want your attention. Yeah. No, don't ignore me. Come on, I'm talking to you, Blondie. No. No. Hey, one of the neat things is I love hosting you guys. This is great information here. I absolutely learned. I started flipping houses in 1977. And one of the things that I'm doing personally, I belong to a Rotary Club, and we're all about the community. And one of the things we got going is mark your calendars for Saturday, May 11th. We got a wine and food event for you, $50 a ticket. It all goes to benefit human trafficking and Rotary kids. So there's some information. I got some postcards on the back counter. Take them. If you go there, there's a live auction, super stuff. These Rotarians put some incredible things together. Trips to Europe, trips to Hawaii. You can buy pennies on the dollar. So this is incredible. So if you take a look at that, I really appreciate it. You've taken a look, and it benefits the kids. Thank you.
Awesome. Once again, Dwight is our host here. We really appreciate having this place. All right, well, if there's no more aha moments, here's my contact information. I do real estate deals, have a farm, run an Airbnb. This will be included in your slides. With that being said, good night. Go make some great things happen. We've got the room till 10, so please stay and network. If you want to be of service, we can always use help packing up at the end of the night. And we'll see you in about 2 weeks.